Literally in my house, just very remotely. I hate to contradict my host on one thing, but I've got to contradict you on one thing. It's even worse that you mentioned.
My wife contradicts me all the time.
It's worse than you mentioned. The missile that the Israelis tested yesterday was not one of the missile defense systems, arrow systems, which they've tested many, many times quite successfully and have deployed. It was a Jericho 3. And Jericho 3 is a ICBM, nuclear-capable missile. Now, I was at a forum in Washington Monday, I think it was, talking about EMP and talking about Iranian EMP with a number of different people, including a former CIA officer named Chet Nagel, who writes novels about this sort of thing. He says, you know, if I were the Israelis, I wouldn't hit their nuclear plants. I mean, why do that? First of all, you won't get them all, is what I would do. And second of all, there's a better way. Really? What is it? He said, well, you know, why don't the Israelis launch a nuclear EMP over Iran? That way you've got no charred holes in the ground. And all of the plants, wherever they are, stop working because there's more power. Now, I don't know that that's what these Israelis are thinking of. I can't stand here and tell you that for a fact. What I can tell you as a fact, because I know people who are in the security cabinet, I've done them well for many, many years, is that there is no desire to launch military strikes against Iran. Why should Israel want to do this? Why should this be Israel's responsibility? They didn't create the Iranian nuclear weapons threat. They didn't transfer technology to Iran to help them build centrifuges. They didn't provide them with the designs that Pakistan did and that China did. They didn't help build their missiles like the Russians did. They didn't supply the dual-use technology like the Germans did. They're just on the receiving end because they have to be chosen. But Israel will do what Israel has to do. I believe that there is a better way. I believe there is a better way. I'm not sure that we still have time for this. But I believe there is a better way, and it's to help the people of Iran get rid of the regime. You know, I spent 18 years in France, and I joke about France a lot. I wrote a book called The Betrayal of America, about Chirac and Chirac's betrayal of France as well as America. But we don't worry about French nuclear weapons. We don't see them aimed at us. France is a democracy. We don't worry about British nuclear weapons. We don't see them as a threat. We don't see a threat from Israeli nuclear weapons. We see a threat from the regime in Tehran. The threat was the regime. Even more than the weapons. Even more than the weapons. If there were a completely different regime in Iran, a democratic regime in Iran, and they had nuclear weapons, I wouldn't be happy, but I wouldn't be losing sleep at night the way I do today, thinking about Iran launching EMP. So I think there's a better way. And I think that way is to help the people of Iran get rid of the regime. There's widespread popular discontent in Iran. When you see what this regime does to its own people, it's clear that they won't hesitate to murder their neighbors.